and supremacy of the wisdom of God. Yes, we have looked at the four aspects of wisdom: earthly wisdom, intellectual wisdom, or sensual wisdom, equally discovered devilish wisdom, and then godly wisdom. And in all this, we are coming to the point that the godly wisdom excels them all. That is the number one. That is the supreme. That is the one, when you have it, it controls every other thing. And anybody, you discover that people in life, depending on their choices, run their life based on any of this wisdom or a combination of them. And anyone you build your life with, it shows exactly. You recall what Jesus told us in Matthew chapter 7. We are not reading it because it's not part. We are just trying to introduce that there is two people, two kind of building. Somebody that built his house upon the rock, and another person that built it upon the sand. And eventually the man that built his house upon the rock was the man that eventually, when storms, wind, and other challenges of life came, it was that house that was built upon the rock that stood. But there is a house that was built on sand, which could not stand the tempest and the storms of life. And without controversy, you see, the fact about life, the truth about life, is that there will be storm. It's a life that you can't avoid storms. And that is why when you are building your life, you take your time to build your life and build your perceptions in life based on the wisdom of God, which is a solid rock. Any other one you build it on is a sinking sand. And without time, it will face storm and may likely collapse along the way. And that is why it is very, very important we heed the instructions of God and begin to search and desire and do all we can to get this wisdom that is very, very important, the wisdom of God. If you check in our memory verse, as we began to look at last week, in James chapter 1, verse number 5, say, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. You can get it. Yes, it is too difficult. You can't get it from men. You can't get it no matter how you dip under the earth to search for it. No matter where you go to get it, the issue is that it's gettable. So it's gettable in the sense that if you ask God for it, he will give it to you. So this morning, as we look at the excellency and supremacy of the wisdom of God, we are going to see, why is wisdom? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Why is it better than all this other wisdom? That's why we are starting our study this morning. Number one of it is that it's greater than anything that is earthly. Wisdom, God's wisdom, is greater than anything that is connected with the earth. In Proverbs chapter 8, verse number 12. Proverbs chapter 8, quickly. If you see it ahead of me, you can read Proverbs chapter 8, 12 and 14. Proverbs chapter 8.
Proverbs chapter 8, verse 12. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. Verse 14.
14.
Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength.
Yes. It says in that verse number 12 that 12, it says, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. And in verse 14, he says, counsel is mine. It's still wisdom that is talking. Instruction is mine. Good counsel is mine. And sound wisdom. Sound wisdom. And when it is talking like this, it's trying to differentiate. If there is a sound wisdom, it means that there is a wisdom that is feeble. There is a wisdom that is not as sound as the one he's talking about here. I am understanding, and then I have strength. I have ability. So wisdom is the number one, because it is durable. It is even greater than riches. It is lasting. It's something that can last. Some of the things you get in this world can easily fly away. But wisdom is something that is always there. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence. I dwell with diligence. I have understanding. So the wisdom we are talking about is that if you get it, it's one thing you get, and you get every other thing. And that is why in 1 Kings chapter 3, when Solomon asked for it, eventually every other thing added to it. Seek ye first. You can as well say, seek you first the wisdom of God, and every other thing in life will be added unto you. So this wisdom carries a lot. This wisdom is something, when you get it, all that treasurable things, other important things you need in life will be added to you. Prudence will come. The way to manage your life will come. And that is why it is the number one. It is the number one. So wisdom is very, very important. Is the number one. Is greater than any other earthly possession. And that is why you will need it. Wisdom carries things. What you do and is something you need to value, because it is valuable. The things of God are categorized in their level of value and what they have. So this wisdom is very, very valuable. Valuable in the sense that it's one thing when you get it, every other additions comes to it. Number two, wisdom is a hid treasure that must be sought out. It's hidden. It's not picked anyhow. If you check in Colossians chapter 2, verse number 3, wisdom is like a hid treasure. It's like a hid treasure because of its value, because of its importance. It's not picked anywhere. It's not picked like Odara. It's not picked like mango. It's not something you get anywhere. Because of the preciousness of it, Colossians chapter 2, verse number 3. Verse number 3, it says, in whom I hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. But take it up to verse number 2. That is talking about that Jesus Christ. In whom I hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. So you can see the knowledge is hidden. It's not something you pick on the road. It's something that will take you due diligence to find it out. So it is a treasure. And you need to first of all value a treasure to begin to desire to go and get it. If you don't know the value, people that even gold, people that don't know the value of gold, the thing may be as close as it can be to them, but they may not take it serious. In fact, there was a man that had it, and eventually, because he didn't know what he has, he sold a portion of land where that gold was because of a need. A need came. He didn't know that same land that he was selling for, a mere fraction of dollars, that inside it was gold. And eventually, when he sold it out, and the man that had the understanding to dig out gold, explored it, when he had it, he regretted he sold it at a cheap rate. So you need to know the value. Of course, if you don't understand the value of a thing, you can take it for granted. And that was why Jesus was saying that you don't give pills or holy things. First of all, you don't give holy things to dogs. They will trample upon it and then mock at you. You don't give pills to swine. Pills are like jewels, they glitter. And you don't give it to swine that is dirty and then we rubbish